On April 3rd, 2025, Toyota, Honda, and Nissan just broke the U.S. auto industry without firing a shot. In one strategic sweep, Japan's top three automakers executed a silent pivot that shattered American supply chains, blindsided Washington's tariff play, and triggered mass layoffs across red state factory belts. This wasn't a protest. This wasn't politics. This was precision. It started with a 25% tariff meant to punish rivals, but it landed squarely on Japan's production hubs in Mexico and Canada. And instead of screaming, Japan moved. EVs rerouted, hybrids reshuffled, production scattered across Southeast Asia, and the impact hit faster than anyone could spin it. If you care about what's really shifting beneath the headlines, smash that subscribe button now. This is the full breakdown of how Japan's top automakers just redrew the future of American manufacturing. Let's dive into the 5 strategic moves that turned a tariff into a tectonic shift. Number 5. Silent retaliation. No drama, just redirection. Unlike past global disputes, Japan didn't respond with political outrage. There were no fiery press conferences or official condemnations. What followed instead was something more devastating: logistics warfare. Toyota diverted EV battery contracts from North American suppliers to partners in Vietnam. Honda quietly announced a $1.2 billion expansion of its Thai hybrid assembly line. Nissan slashed Rogue production in Japan, but doubled investment in Indonesian manufacturing. This wasn't reactionary. It was execution of a plan crafted over years, especially since the America First wave in 2018. Japan had long anticipated instability in U.S. trade policy, and now it simply flipped the switch. By June 2025, over 65% of Honda's North American-bound EV components were sourced from outside NAFTA countries. That figure had been under 30% just a year prior, and the ripple effects were immediate. Japanese shipping companies reported a 42% spike in container bookings to Southeast Asia. Logistics hubs in Bangkok and Jakarta began operating at near full capacity, while ports in LA and Long Beach recorded a 15% drop in Japanese auto imports. This wasn't just about redirection, it was a full-scale realignment. Number 4. Supply chain dominoes. American factories freeze. What seemed like a foreign tariff quickly froze American soil. Over 12,000 jobs were impacted in Michigan, Ohio, and Kentucky alone, regions home to dozens of Japanese supplier plants. Denso, Aizen, and Yazaki, Japanese firms with deep U.S. roots, announced furloughs and halted expansion. Why? Because the parts were either rerouted or reclassified as non-preferred under new tariff rules. Dealerships in Texas and Illinois reported delivery delays by July. EVs like the Toyota BZ4X and Honda Prologue were now on backorder for up to 9 months. The result? Frustrated customers and shrinking loyalty. Meanwhile, American automakers couldn't step in to fill the gap. They had long abandoned hybrid segments Japan dominated, and with no short-term alternatives, the U.S. auto industry was caught flat-footed. To make matters worse, the U.S. Department of Labor reported that over 2,300 layoffs in auto-adjacent sectors were directly tied to disrupted Japanese imports. And with replacement parts stalled, repair times ballooned by 37% on average across key metro markets. Number 3. Southeast Asia ascends. Japan's strategic shift. Southeast Asia wasn't just Plan B, it had always been Japan's silent bet. By 2025, Toyota had finalized its second solid-state battery plant in Thailand. Nissan rolled out EV testing facilities in Vietnam. Honda launched design hubs in Malaysia. These were more than cost-saving maneuvers. They were political insurance. Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, none were slapping tariffs on Japanese imports. And with friendlier governments and streamlined regulations, Japan locked in flexibility. By late 2025, over 40% of Japan's global vehicle exports were routed through Southeast Asian logistics channels, a record high. Thailand's Board of Investment reported a 33% increase in new Japanese auto investments within just one fiscal quarter. Meanwhile, Indonesia offered a 15-year tax break on hybrid production, further sealing Japan's long-term presence. Number 2, innovation on overdrive, batteries, hybrids, and market loyalty. While U.S. automakers remained focused on large trucks and SUVs, Japan doubled down on what the market actually needed: affordable, efficient hybrids and compact EVs. Toyota's hybrid lineup already dominated market share. Now, they leaned harder into battery innovation, doubling research budgets for solid-state technology and achieving a 20% battery density increase in pre-2026 models. Nissan's Leaf Compact and Honda's N Series were quietly gaining traction in Europe, and now, through Southeast Asia, they began flooding the Pacific Rim. More importantly, Japan retained its brand loyalty. Despite the tariffs, Japanese automakers kept U.S. market share above 35%. They absorbed shipping costs, offered incentives, and leaned into reliability. The result? Resilience without retaliation. In Q3 2025, consumer surveys from J.D. Power showed a 91% satisfaction rate for Japanese hybrid owners, up 6% from the previous year. That loyalty translated directly to sales, with Toyota and Honda hybrid units up 14% year-over-year despite price hikes. Number 1, the real power play. Quiet exit from U.S. dependency. Perhaps the most critical move wasn't loud at all. It was Japan's gradual financial decoupling from American dependence. In Q3 2025, Japan's Ministry of Finance reduced U.S. bond purchases for the second consecutive quarter. While the dip wasn't enough to spook markets, it sent a message: economic trust, once broken, doesn't rebuild overnight. By late 2025, over 30% of Japan's formerly U.S.-based innovation personnel had been reassigned overseas. This wasn't sabotage, it was independence. While America looked inward, Japan looked ahead. And the trend didn't stop there. Investment bank Nomura reported a 24% uptick in Japanese industrial capital now flowing into ASEAN infrastructure rather than into the U.S. automotive belt. It's not just a relocation, it's a reimagining of strategic alignment. Final thoughts. This wasn't just a trade dispute. It was a test, and Japan passed with precision. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan didn't complain. They didn't retaliate with noise. They retaliated with strategy. And while Washington hoped tariffs would bring jobs back, they actually accelerated a global pivot that might never be reversed. The question isn't whether Japan beat the U.S. on this one. The real question is whether America even realized the game changed. Police Scarlight, if you made it this far, you already think differently. Don't stop now. Hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the headlines. Because this story isn't over, and you're already watching the next chapter unfold.